as you mentioned, each record represents the times the bands are living, but maybe also the music the band is listening in that time. I was wondering, do you guys still listen to fresh new bands or new styles that are coming out, or do you stick to the old classics?
Well, I love the classics. I love everything, but I think there's some great music out right now. There's in terms of rock bands, there's some new younger artists that are really great. There's some artists that have been out for a few years, like Rival Sons and stuff like that, and bands like even projects. I mean, I don't even know if you call it a band, but like the Black Keys is doing really cool stuff. Rival Sons, and then there's some new artists. There's a band called Mount Holly
Yeah.
that is from the U.S. and a friend of mine is guy Nick Perry on guitar. He's great. It's kind of like a Zeppelin vibe. There's a band Raven Eye. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're from the
Yes.
UK. It's a trio. They're really cool. There's a guitar player called Jared James Nichols. It's a new great blues rock guitar singer, and he's a friend of mine. Just a lot of new stuff that I like. But I gotta say, I just heard that Ravens Eye stuff. I really like that, so people should check that out.
Great. So you being a guitarist and being next to a lot of amazing guitarists in your whole career, playing with them, which of them blow your mind? Which of them you play next, guitar to guitar, and you say, okay, I can't believe I'm playing with this guy.
Well, I mean, in this, everybody's got something to learn. I mean, David Lowy is a really fresh guitar player. He's a very simple, fresh, honest, and youthful sounding guitar player. And then you got guys like Reb Beach, who Reb is a master of the tapping, and he's Reb is one of those guys that is a very plays. He plays whatever he thinks right at the moment. He doesn't think too much. He just goes for it, and it's really fun, because you never know what he's going to do. We could practice, for a month straight. When the show starts, Reb's going to do whatever comes to mind, and that's what's cool about Reb, And then other situations where I've been around guitar players. I mean, like friends of mine, like Zach Wild, or I'm friends with Joe Bonamassa a little bit. He just blows me away. I love how he plays. I can't play anything like that, but I love how he plays. And Vivian Campbell's a good friend of mine. I've had a chance to meet guys like Jimmy Page and Tony Iommi. Neil Sean is a friend of mine. He's just insane, man. So I mean, there's a lot of great guitar players. I got the chance to tour with guys like Gary Moore, which was unbelievable, and Dave Meniketti from YMT. And I got a chance when I was a kid to meet people like Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen. It was, unbelievable.
Amazing.
So,
So talking about classic rock as well, a lot of bands that make rock what it is today and make rock huge are well saying goodbye. You have AC/DC like almost touring now, Black Sabbath doing the goodbye tour. Kiss usually recently say they are not gonna be more than 10 years around. Do you feel like even though the music will go on and rock will go on and rock bands are gonna coming up now, do you feel like this vibe of classic rock maybe is coming to an end?
well, it's always changing, and there's no getting around it. We all get older, so you have to realize that at a certain point, it's not easy to do for some guys, for singers to hit the high notes that they used to hit. It's difficult, man, because your vocal cords change, and it's just not easy to do the things that you did when you were 25 when you're 65. But I mean, everyone talks about, like Aerosmith, for example, was talking about, okay, this is our last tour, but now they've changed their mind. They want to keep going. That's great,
Hmm.
David Coverdale still going, still making new music. That's awesome. Kiss, I don't know. Those guys are kicking ass, man. They can't stop. They sound amazing. And you know, there's some new classic bands like Guns N' Roses. I mean, they're doing great business. I'm a little, you know, I'm a little bummed that AC/DC doesn't have Brian Johnson still, but if they do a record with Axl, that could be cool. You know, that would be something nice, and makes Axl happy, so that's good. But the bottom line is that Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Kiss, all these bands are out there playing and keeping music alive. I think it's going to change, but I don't think it's going to die. Mm-hmm. You know, there's new bands, and there's new metal bands that people love. There's a lot of metal. So, but I think the melodic rock and the classic rock, we need bands, and that's what the Dead Daisies is doing with the classic rock, and then stuff like, you know, some of the stuff that some of the labels are doing melodic rock. That's good too.
Good. Well, Doug, you know, you tour with Kiss with the Dead Daisies, but you also play with Dio. And I have to ask you this because today on the news there was something that says that Gene Simmons from Kiss is trying to do a trademark for the devil horns. So he says he invented the devil horns, and well, the history says that it was Ronnie James Dio, which you play with. So on which side are you?
I would have to say it's very difficult because they're both friends of mine. Well, Ronnie obviously is not here. I would have to say it's very difficult. I don't know who did it, but I know that Ronnie told. I would reckon that Ronnie, you know, did it earlier than Gene.
Yeah.
But I would reckon that Gene equally could have come up with it. But I think that. So I think it's 50-50, but I think that when people think of the devil horns, they think of Ronnie the most.
For sure.
You know, Ronnie told me the story. He said it was his grandmother used to, you know, it was called the evil eye. He would do it. And people always do the devil horns and they face it to themselves, you know, like a backwards devil horn.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're supposed to do, because the devil horn is supposed to keep bad people away. You have to point it to them. That's what Ronnie always did. Ronnie never turned it around backwards. You notice that?
Yeah.
See, he always, because his grandmother told him that you point it at people who got the bad spirit, and it keeps the bad spirit away from you, and it protects you. So Ronnie would always do that. And he would also, I feel like Ronnie put it from his heart, through his arm, into his hand, and he would send out, you know, this positive thing to his people, you know. And at the same time, I've seen Gene do that sign since I was a kid. So I don't know, man, who did it, but I mean, it's business. So whoever is lucky enough to get the trademark, that's really cool. So if Gene, you know, why not? Gene could have it, you know, but maybe Ronnie's family should have it. Maybe they should split it.
Okay. Well, Doug, just a last question. As we said before, you've been in thousands of bands, projects, and everything. Do you think that the Dead Daisies is gonna be the last one, or you can never tell? Do you want to end your musical career with this band, or maybe something else is gonna wait you in the next couple of years?
There's always something else, my friend. I mean, the thing is I won't end my career until I die, and I don't want to die for a long time because I got little kids like you do, and you know, it's important to stay healthy and stay happy and keep rocking. And you never know what the future holds with any band situation, because a band is involved with, you know, multiple personalities, and people may change their idea, or they may change their mind. They may want to try something else. You never know. But I'm going to continue to play guitar, and I love working with the Dead Daisies. And I know we're going to make more music together. You never know how long that's going to go on for. I mean, I made the most music I ever made was with David Coverdale, and I'm really proud of that. You know, we wrote 30 songs together, and you know, I never wrote 30 songs with anybody. I don't think David wrote 30 songs with anybody either, but he and I together did, and I'm really proud of it. But at the same time, that had to come to an end, you know. So you never know, man. I want to keep rocking for a long time.
Do you keep a door open maybe to returning to do some music with David, with Coverdale?
Oh, I would love to do some music with David. I've actually got some things that we had worked on. You know, I've got some things that I had showed David that we never really got to, and then I've got some interesting music that some cover things. I was like, would be sitting with David, and I'd sit there and I would go, like, David, let's do a little version of this song for fun for a cover. You know, I've got some of that kind of stuff. It's really cool. And he would be like, what are you talking about? And then we'd start drinking wine, and he would go, okay, let's do it. And we'd have some fun, you know. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be, you know, I wouldn't reckon that he doesn't need a guitar player, and I got a band. And I really love working with the Dead Daisies. But I would definitely be open to doing anything ever if David needed me, and hopefully he would do the same for me. We'll see.